Well, folks, in today's video, we're going to be seeing if we can get this vintage Alco Century 430 locomotive to run again. This was a locomotive that was sent in from a gentleman by the name of Charles Cummings, and it really is a cool locomotive in my opinion. I really like the paint scheme on it. The Illinois Central Gulf paint scheme really looks cool. I just love the orange and white on it. Anyway, this locomotive, as I recall, doesn't run whatsoever, so we're going to see if we can get this thing going again. And to start that off, I think we'll just take it over to the track, see what is wrong with it, see if we can kind of diagnose that, and then go from there. So let's get started. We'll begin by testing this locomotive. I really don't remember if this thing showed any signs of life last time we tried to run it. I hear something from the motor, but I do not want to test that too much, but we do hear sound, so at least we know the motor's getting power. Didn't see any sign of a light, but yeah, the motor is my bigger priority. So yeah, why don't we go see if we can figure out what's up with it. So as with any old Tyco, we'll just lift this piece right out here on both sides there, and then we'll be able to gain access to the inside and have a better look at everything like that. There is a bulb in there, so I'm actually surprised that didn't light. Could be burnt out. But in any case, let's remove this. Sometimes it's best on one side. You just kind of squeeze it in like that, and it will come off like so. And then we'll remove the wheels on the bottom here as well, which is not that difficult. One thing that is sort of nice about working on these old Tycos is once you've worked on one, you can pretty much work on them all. They've got like practically an identical drive system. Sometimes how the motor is attached to the locomotive, that can be a little bit different with various kinds, but the motors and the gears and everything else is pretty much identical, so that's one thing that's sort of convenient. Anyway, this is not looking all that bad actually. Everything is fairly clean in there, which is nice to see. We'll lift off these gears right here. That's really stuck on there. And we'll just remove the pivot gear there, and oh, not again. Oh boy, that's gonna be interesting. So looking over this motor and just seeing the condition of it, I've concluded I'm just gonna end up using this other block, which I happen to have in my parts bin. So I'm just gonna take the parts off of this, put them on there, clean up anything that needs to be cleaned, and hopefully we'll have a working locomotive. Should be a lot easier than having to replace the pivot, which just, you know, snapped off so easily. That thing was clearly already cracked because I barely applied any pressure, and the whole thing just popped right off. So yeah. Anyway, we're gonna find out what kind of condition that motor's in. Huh, that's not that bad. Look at that. Pretty polished, doesn't look too burnt or anything like that. See, this is the type of stuff you have to be very careful about on these old Tyco motors. The craftsmanship really was not flawless, you could say, on these things. And right there is a piece of flashing, and since basically all the gears rub around each other, that can cause a lot of problems. It can even stall the motor if it's bad enough. So we're gonna shave that down until basically it's even with the rest of it, and it's not bad. There we go. Alright, so we got the locomotive all done now. Why don't we go take this thing over to the track and test it? Alright, let's see if our work has paid off. Okay. Alright, that's not too bad. Serenity! It's definitely not flawless, but yeah, old Tyco power torque, these things never really run flawlessly. But this isn't too bad. It's certainly a step up of where we started off with. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. Anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. I want to thank Charles Cummings for sending this locomotive. And with that, I want to thank you all so much for watching.